Welcome in to the latest episode of Betting the Pitch with your host, the real underscore G Warner. We are 23-7 on our best bets this season, and we will be making one at the end of this show. I'm catching up on a bunch of soccer after a ridiculously brutal bad beat at the college football semifinals of the college football playoff at Jerry World in Arlington. Oh my gosh. But those things happen. And then I've been catching up on La Liga from a long time ago and seeing one of my bets finish with 8 players. So hopefully we can see a little bit less than those problems moving forward. We're going to go through the FA Cup in England, the Spanish La Liga, Italian Serie A, Liga in France, and also the German Bundesliga before we get out of here on a real, truly late night with the real underscore G Warner. Thank you for coming in. Anyone that comes in live, feel free to throw some comments in there. And we're going to run through this episode because I am well exhausted, but I wanted to get a podcast out for all of y'all. And we're going to start in the FA Cup in England. And there's going to be a lot of skips for me as this is an early round, third round, which is bizarre to me that they play so many matches over the festive fixture period, only to completely shut off for the FA Cup. In on a normal weekend when everyone else was returning to play. But I guess that's how England does it. And don't try to change anything there because they might just take 2 weeks off because a 97-year-old woman queen died. Bristol City, a pick 'em to Wolves. I'll just try to spend a little bit of time on the Premier League sides. Wolves in really dire straits. I mean, very disrespectful, I feel, as only a pick 'em on the road at Bristol City. But I feel like Wolves are one of those sides that could be a potential upset, really in any match they play, but especially in this type of situation where they're more worried about their Premier League lives. Totals 2 3/4 in this one, and I'll move on to Liverpool hosting Accrington. Liverpool 3 1/4 goal favorites with all the juice. Totals 4 1/4, juice all the way to over. I don't even know where Accrington is. Haven't heard of them before. Leicester City, a 1 goal favorite to QPR. Currently, all the juice on QPR totals 2 3/4 and juice to split. Would imagine Leicester would be playing a backup brigade, trying to get some sort of health, wellness, energy for their try to stay in the Premier League. We'll move next to Nottingham Forest, 1 1/4 goal favorites to Luton Town, totals 2 3/4. Juice really heavily to under right now. Nottingham Forest are playing so well in Premier League, hard to really see them struggling in this type of competition, especially against a Premier League side that has drifted back down to the Championship. Chelsea, 3 3/4 goal favorite to Morecambe. Morecambe, I don't even know how to pronounce it. That's how big of an underdog they are. 3 3/4 with all the juice. Totals 4 3/4 with all the juice. Jeez, I feel like I'm wasting my time here. But we'll move next to Bournemouth, 1 goal favorites to West Brom. Currently Bournemouth 1 goal favorite with all the juice. Totals 2 3/4 juice to split. It's been a while since West Brom has been in the Premier League, and I gotta say I have not really followed up with them so closely since then. Norwich City, 1 goal underdog at home to Brighton. All the juice on Norwich over under is 3, just to split both ways. Brighton should be good enough and too good to win this competition. I guess I will be coming up with an ultimate best bet with one of these selections for the FA Cup, so stay tuned. I'll try to find one eventually. Brighton is 1 goal favorites. I mean, I'm not playing Norwich. They've been really, really bad in years past, and I'm not really even sure who their manager is, if it's David Wagner, formerly of Schalke 04 and other places, Hamburg and Germany. Reading, Burnley, I guess Burnley's in a lower league. Manchester City, 3 goal favorites to Salford City with all the juice right now. Total is 4, just all the way to over. No thanks. Coventry, one of my good friends is a big Coventry lad. Half a goal favorite Sheffield Wednesday. Total is 2 3/4, just all the way to under. I guess we're moving on to Sunday in the English FA Cup. We'll go to let's see, Tottenham on the road at Tamworth. Never heard of them. 2 1/4 goal underdogs with all the juice. Totals 3.5, just a split. Arsenal, a 3/4 goal favorite to Manchester United. That's a little bit more interesting on Sunday. United really struggling. Arsenal playing well, but not winning a Premier League title. It looks totals 2.5, just all the way to over. Big question is what type of lineup does Arsenal play? They've really put out backups in the Carabao Cup, EFL Cup, most recently against Crystal Palace, despite being further along in the competition. I think we see probably some backups here. That's why Manchester United are less than a goal underdog, though Ruben Amorim probably is just desperate for any sort of good news. And Manchester United have been a cup team in recent seasons. Eric Ten Hag even won one or maybe two of these. I think from this perspective, Arsenal seem a little bit cheap to me, so I want to see lineups, of course. I think I lean to under 2.5 as my biggest interest in this matchup, and I'll even jot that down because nothing else has been even remotely close to possibly considering, I don't think, at this point. So Manchester United under 2.5 goals in that matchup. Crystal Palace, 1.5 goal favorite, all the juice to Stockport, totals 3.25, juiced all the way to under. Ipswich, 1.75 goals to Bristol Rovers, totals three, just all the way to over. Newcastle, 2.5 goal favorites to Bromley, a mountain Vermont, but I guess also a English soccer club. Totals 3.75. This one just is kind of split in this one. But I'm not fading Newcastle with almost anybody in the Premier League. Never mind some ski mountain in I guess a relatively flat part of this country, the United States, where I'm recording from live at 2:18 local time. Oh my God, I'm never going to sleep. Southampton, 3/4 goal favorites to Swansea. All the juice almost on Swansea, totals 2.75, just slightly more to over. I'm a little bit interested in Swansea here just because Southampton have to be focused on Premier League. They're in horrible straits. Their manager doesn't know what he's doing to find goals across other leagues. And in the Premier League, the toughest of all, very unlikely that's going to happen. So I think I'm more interested in under 2.75 here. Jeez, Monday. So some club named Dagenham and Redbridge is playing at Millwall. No thanks. And that'll we'll move on to Tuesday, and no Premier League clubs playing there because they're gonna have to have a really quick turnaround. So I guess that'll do it for interest in England. I think I'll go. I'm interested in Manchester United and Arsenal under 2.5 just because there clearly are Premier League defenses involved, whether they're rotated to play backups or not. I think in terms of a strategy perspective, Swansea under 2.5 or under 2.75 is more interesting. But I'll stick with what we know, and we'll go with the Manchester United under 2.5 goals at on the road at Arsenal. We'll move now to Spanish La Liga. We'll start in the early window with Alaves hosting Girona. Currently, Alaves quarter goal underdog at home with all the juice. Total is 2.25, juice all the way to under. I think the juice is right on this matchup. Not a lot of goals expected, and really not a lot of offense from the road team. I mean, Girona are a Champions League side, though they are nowhere near that level. I feel like I haven't made enough money going against Girona so far this season, but Alaves are a great opportunity. They've already sacked their manager, brought in a more pragmatic one, though they were pretty pragmatic and have been for years, and honestly got rid of and sacked a manager who did so well last season and made it so they were not even concerned one bit about staying in La Liga. Well, I guess times change, or I guess maybe they had a board member decide that Luis Garcia is not their man. I don't know. It's hard to explain that one, but I lean to Alaves getting the quarter of a goal at home, and I lean to under 2.25 as well, as I don't see a lot of goals in that early matchup. Real Valladolid then hosts Real Betis. Currently, Valladolid a 3/4 goal underdog at home. More juice on Betis away. Totals 2.25. Juice pretty more heavily to under, as is the juice on the road favorite. I just don't really trust Real Betis' offense. They've been playing without a striker all season. Real Valladolid certainly has defensive issues, and that could be enough to keep you away because I lean to under and to the underdog. Um, but I think if you're playing against Real Betis, it makes sense to go under and underdog. So I'll put Valladolid on my list at 3/4 of a goal, hoping for one, of course, and lean to under 2.25 in that matchup. Moving next, Espanyol hosting Leganés. Currently, Espanyol, a quarter goal favorite with all the juice. Total is 2, juiced all the way under. I was actually talking about Leganés. I guess they're only down to 9 men, not 8, as it looked like there's going to be a red card on the third penalty of the matchup. Not great for an under, to say the least. And their final tune-up before the break with Villarreal at home. Now, Leganés go on the road to Espanyol. Have been really struggling. Two promoted sides here, so both are trying to stay in the league, and it's not looking great for Espanyol. Leganés have been playing better, but it only goes so far through so many match days. You got to keep it going and really make sure you don't have a really poor streak towards the end of the season. I lean to Leganes getting a quarter goal. I feel like we might see a half of a goal before kickoff. I also lean to under two. I think we see a response to that. Four goals conceded, two from penalties, and a lot due to really bad luck, I think, and bad refereeing decisions. But Espanyol don't score many goals, and they just aren't really scary enough to me at this point. Move to the nightcap on Saturday. Sevilla hosting Valencia. Currently, Sevilla quarter goal favorite at home with all the juice. Total is 2.25. Juice all the way to under. Now, I don't really trust Valencia to score goals. I mean, these are two big clubs that have fallen on hard times in Spain. I think under 2.25 is my biggest interest in this one. It might fall to two by the time we get to kickoff, but I'm not truthfully too scared about that, as the push on two is the most valuable thing. Moving to Sunday, two really quiet matches, I guess, because we have the Supercopa de España, which they sold out to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. But I'll start with Las Palmas, the quarter goal favorite to Getafe. All the juice on Getafe on the road, totals two, juice all the way to under. Biggest interest for me is under two in this matchup. Don't see a lot of goals coming any direction. I think goalless is probably the most likely goalless event in Spain, maybe across all of the soccer world. Moving next to Atletico Madrid hosting Osasuna, currently Atleti, a goal and a half favorite at home. Almost all the juice on Osasuna away, totals 2.75, juice all the way to under. Osasuna is a big price for them to get, and they play good football, but it's different away from home at El Sadar. They're, I think, on the endangered species list when they travel. And honestly, Atletico Madrid are not a team I want to fade right now, so no thank you on that one. Last but not least, we have Real Sociedad hosting Villarreal before I get to the Supercopa, which I'll go back to because that's a late Sunday start. But Sociedad half a goal favorites to Villarreal, totals 2.5, just all the way to under. I don't trust Villarreal. They can't keep goals from going into their net no matter what. They certainly can score them. And the big issue for me is that Real Sociedad are really an under team to me. So I don't know if there's a lot for me to do on Monday, January 13th in Spanish La Liga, but we'll see as we get a little bit closer to the date. So before we move on out of Spain, I'm going to go to that Supercopa match and see what we got for a line for Barcelona and Real Madrid. I'm haven't seen this line yet, so we're doing this live, but I'm guessing that Real Madrid are slight favorites. And let's see, they are a slight favorite at Pick'em. All the juice on Real Madrid, actually getting odds on Barcelona if you want to pick them to win in regulation. With of course getting your money back if they draw. Totals 3.25, juice more to the under. I think I lean to whoever's an underdog here. Weird to be playing in Saudi Arabia, but that's what the money dictates. 3.25 feels like a big total also, though we've seen some high scoring matchups. I'm not sure there's a lot here for me at this point, waiting to see if Barcelona moves that quarter goal underdog, because I think that'll be of an interest, certainly to a lot of the gambling public, and I think also to yours truly. So gonna pick a best bet, probably not using that Supercopa, I must admit. And I think that honestly the biggest interest for me, I mean, there's a lot of unders on this card, which doesn't make me feel great, but that is, I guess, what it is. So I'll lean, I'll go Sevilla Valencia under 2.25 goals in the nightcap in Spain. We'll move now to Italian Serie A. We'll start on Saturday with Udinese hosting Atalanta. Currently, Udinese 1-goal underdogs at home with all the juice. Total is 2.75, juice really heavily to under also. Udinese have been playing better, but I don't know if I trust them. Atalanta are so much more talented, so skilled, and we'll see how they respond from a very quick trip to their own Supercoppa Italiana in some other faraway land, trying to get that gold or black gold oil money. I think Udinese is just of interest to me because they're getting a full goal of insurance, but I don't know that I trust them enough, especially against a really good side like Atalanta. Move next to Empoli hosting Lecce. Currently, Empoli half a goal favorite with more juice on Lecce away from home. Total is 2, juice all the way to over. I'm waiting to see this juice flip sides, but I do like plus odds on an Empoli Lecce match to not score 2 goals. And of course, if it does land 2, you get your money back. Not so doesn't feel so great when you're taking a plus money on that. So we'll wait to see if this moves to 2.25. I don't really trust the Lecce offense. They've been scoring a bunch of goals over the past few seasons, or excuse me, during this season. Don't really know that I trust it continuing much further, but it's happened. And I think at this point, I'm just looking to play unders with Empoli until that offense has been greatly overperforming expectations, comes back to earth. But with that said, I think I'm scared enough to not back Lecce here. So I'll lean under 2 in that matchup. Moving next to Torino hosting Juventus in a big rivalry in Turin in Italy. Currently, Torino, half a goal underdog at home with more juice, totals 2, juiced all the way to under. The only thing I'm interested here is under 2, though Juventus have not been defending as well as they did to start the season. I think at this point, I'll wait to see where this number goes. Wouldn't be shocked for it to hit 1 3/4. Last but not least, Milan hosting Cagliari. Currently, Milan a goal and a half favorite with all the juice on Cagliari away from home. Total is 3, juiced all the way to under as well. Really like 3 there and don't want to lose it. So I'll go Cagliari. I mean, I like the goal and a half as well, but I like under 3 as my biggest interest in that matchup. Is I think Cagliari, we've seen they play very defensively away from home. We'll see what Conceição, the new manager for Milan, will put in, especially after his journey to Saudi Arabia or Qatar or whatever, the UAE for the Supercoppa Italiana and a final with Inter Milan. Moving to Sunday, of Genoa hosting Parma. Currently, Genoa a half a goal favorite at home, more juice than Parma away from home. Totals 2.5, juice more to the over. I don't really understand the lack of respect for Parma lately. They started the year off great, yes, due to a lot of home matches after they were promoted from Serie B, but Genoa have not been scoring goals forever. I don't really trust them to start, though Parma will play a more open game and certainly give a lot of opportunities to Genoa. I think Parma are worth a look here. So Parma getting half of a goal is my interest there. Don't really have much feel for a total, especially because they're not a defensive bunch. Venezia then hosts Inter Milan. Currently, Venezia goal and a half underdog. All the juice on Inter away from home. Total is 3. Juice more to the over. This is going to be a tough match for Venezia. They're going to have to try to buckle down and defend. I just, at this point, don't want to lose money going against Inter at this point. Love backing them as an underdog and playing their unders. That's not the scenario here. Next, we'll move to Bologna hosting Roma. Currently, Bologna a pick'em, a little bit more juice on Roma away from home. Totals 2.25, juice slightly more to over. I think this one correlates pretty well to the home underdog and under. Just don't trust the Roma offense. Don't trust their third manager or more of the season, who's come in to stabilize and really, I think, has no idea what to do offensively, hasn't in a while, and has been recently managing teams that have been fighting relegation. Now he's returned to a club he played for. Bologna at Pick'em and under 2.25. My big interest there. Last on Sunday, we go Napoli hosting Verona. Currently, Napoli a 1 3/4 goal favorite with more juice. Total is 3, juice all the way to under. How did I forget to tweet that I was live? Oops, I guess that's what happens when it's 2:29 a.m. But I think at this point, I'm looking. I don't really trust the Verona defense. I'm really kicking myself for not playing the under last weekend when they had a goalless draw, but c'est la vie. I think Napoli, we've seen that they don't really score a ton of goals until they did against Fiorentina last weekend. Bizarre. I think we see a return to, I guess, the expectation. So Verona getting under 3 is my biggest interest there. You basically get a goal and a quarter extra from the side, and Verona are not likely to outscore Napoli in a lopsided match or in a high scoring match. So I think you expect to see an under 3 there. On Monday, Monza hosting Fiorentina. Currently, Monza half a goal favorite with more juice. Total is 2.5, juice all the way to under. Monza, I just can't trust to score goals at this point. Fiorentina, I think, have been very shaky at times, but also have had great stretches. I feel like they're in one of those shakier times right now, especially after getting blasted by Napoli last weekend. They should respond, I would suspect, but we'll see how that ends up going. I don't know that I have a lot for this one on Monday, so I got to make a pick for my ultimate best bet portion of the show, and I will go with that Cagliari under 3 goals against on the road against Milan. We'll move to French Ligue 1, and then we'll get to the German Bundesliga, and then try to make this episode not as long as it feels like it's going. We'll start with Stade Brestois hosting Lyon in France on Saturday morning here in the United States. Currently, Brest quarter goal underdog at home with more almost all the juice on Lyon away from home. Total is 2 3/4, just juice slightly more to over. I think Stade Brestois is the side I want here. They've been playing, I think, admirably, better than anyone could have expected in Champions League. Ligue 1 has not been going as well, but I do think getting Lyon at home is a good thing for them. I lean to under 2 3/4, so I think I like the side more. Stade Reims then host Olympique Gymnastique Club de Nice. Currently, Reims a pick 'em right now. Almost all the juice on Nice away from home. Total is 2.5, juice pretty heavily to over. I'd like to beat against Nice, so I'm waiting to see this number climb to quarter goal underdog. I'll lean to Stade de Reims right now at home at Pick'em and lean to under 2.5. Though I don't think I've had as much success going against Nice's offense as I feel like I should have so far this season. To the nightcap on Saturday, we have Rennes hosting Marseille. Currently, Rennes a quarter goal underdog at home with all the juice. Total's 2.25, juice all the way to over. Rennes are trying to figure themselves out. They're a club in transition. Marseille have been awesome away from home, but I'll lean to Rennes at home, getting that quarter of a goal because a draw will pay you. Moving to Sunday, Le Havre hosting Lens. Hard for me, I guess, to do French pronunciations at this hour, but here we go. Glad my eyes are barely open. Le Havre, a one-goal underdog at home with all the juice. Totals 2.5, juice all the way to under. Lens are a defensive team, as are Le Havre. I think more because Le Havre can't score, but also came up from Ligue 2 a couple seasons ago because their defense is great. Stayed in the league because their defense is great. I think that all points the same direction. I lean to Le Havre, a one-goal underdog, and also to that under 2.5. Move next to Montpellier hosting Angers. Currently on Montpellier, a quarter goal favorite with all the juice. Total is 2.5, juice slightly more to under. Montpellier are fighting fighting relegation. Angers were expected to fight relegation. This is a big battle, and I think we see a low-scoring matchup. I don't know that I trust Angers to create enough, but I trust them to defend. I don't trust Montpellier to defend much either, so that's a little bit more complicated. But I'll lean to Angers under 2.5 goals in that matchup. Move next to Toulouse hosting Strasbourg. Currently, Toulouse three-quarter goal favorites with all the juice on Strasbourg away from home. Total is 2.5, juice all the way to over. Two teams that seem like goal-scoring sides. Joe Dollar, if you're listening at this hour, I doubt it. Hopefully, you're sleeping as you manage the household. But I think at this point, I just want to be against Strasbourg, but as an underdog, that doesn't really compute with my soccer gambling strategy. I'm not sure it got much to do with that one as we move to the nightcap. PSG hosting Saint Etienne. Currently, PSG 2 3/4 goal favorites at home with almost all the juice on Saint Etienne, surprisingly away from home. Total is 4, just really heavily to under right now. And there's not anything I want to do with this one as I don't trust the Saint Etienne defense, and I certainly don't trust it away from home. So for my best bet in France on this weekend's card, that will potentially show up as a ultimate best bet on the at the end of the show, I'll go with Stade Brestois, a quarter goal underdog at home to Lyon. I like them. I feel like they get a good chance they can get a draw at home and pay us out, maybe even win and pay us out fully. Moving to the German Bundesliga, the last league we'll cover on this episode, TSG Hoffenheim. They're hosting VfL Wolfsburg. Currently, Hoffenheim, a quarter goal favorite at home with almost all the juice on Wolfsburg. Away from home, total is 2 3/4, juice all the way to over. Wolfsburg have been a really good sit back and counterattacking style. I think that is a big problem for Hoffenheim. So give me Wolfsburg, quarter goal underdog. I lean to under 2 3/4 here. Would love to get 3. We'll see before the game kicks off on Saturday morning here in the United States, just in a few hours if I ever get to sleep. TSG Hoffenheim is what I just talked about, so we'll move to Heidenheim in the next matchup, hosting Union Berlin. Currently a pick'em, all the juice on Union away from home. Total is 2 1/4, juice is split both ways. Union have not been scoring goals, but when they do, they've been conceding far too many. I expect over the long German winter break, Christmas break, that they will do everything they can to shore up that defense. I don't trust Heidenheim, though they've certainly been conceding more goals than I think they've deserved. I don't trust them to score many, so it makes sense that they're an underdog, though I would certainly be a little bit more interested as they're getting a quarter of a goal. I think at this point, I'm interested in under 2 1/4 in that matchup. Moving next to Sport Club Freiburg, as I wear their kit as I record. If you're watching live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you'll be, I guess, watching a recording, but live on Twitter or live on YouTube is probably the best way to put it, but it's late, my bad. Freiburg, a 1 1/4 goal favorite with all the juice. Total is 3, just slightly more to over. And if you were trying to figure out where this podcast is, go follow Betting the Pitch. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, or hit the subscribe button at the Real_G Warner on YouTube, and of course on Instagram if you want the 1-minute versions of this episode. But Freiburg, goal and a quarter favorite to Holstein Kiel. I don't trust Holstein Kiel at all. They're a really bad team and look like they're destined to go back to the Schweizer Liga, the second Bundesliga. But I lean to under 3 because I just don't really trust Freiburg. Their goals have been few and far between, or really fortunate, I think, the goals they score seem really lucky, is I guess the best way I could put it. I think the Freiburg defense will improve, and I don't think Holstein Kiel can do much to threaten them. Plus, the push on three is essential here. Mainz 05 then hosts VfL Bochum. Currently, Mainz a three-quarter goal favorite with all the juice. Totals 2 and 3/4. Juice pretty heavily to under. Bochum are a dead under team to me. Mainz have been scoring a lot away from home. They're very intense. I think Bochum will literally sit in a shell and will not come out forever and ever and ever. So give me Bochum under 2 and 3/4 goals in that matchup. Move next to St. Pauli hosting Eintracht Frankfurt. Currently, St. Pauli, quarter goal underdog at home with a little bit more juice. Totals 2 and 3/4, a little more juice to under. I leaned under here, and I guess I leaned to St. Pauli as well. They've been playing really well, I think, all season. Finally got a big win heading into the winter break. Tough to see that momentum then subside from a bunch of time off. But Eintracht Frankfurt, they have been kind of slumping into the break as well. Had a bunch of losses to Leipzig, two matches in the DFB Pokal, and the last matchup before the break on the road. And now they go on the road to St. Pauli, and tough place to play in Hamburg. I'll lean to the quarter goal underdog at home and lean to under 2 and 3/4, though certainly that doesn't really jive with Eintracht Frankfurt and their really talented front line. If there's Noam Mamouche, that's certainly something interesting to me, though I don't have any inside information like that. To the top spiel, the Saturday night game, we have Borussia Mönchengladbach hosting Bayern München. Currently, Gladbach a 1.5 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Total is 3.5, juice all the way to under. I lean to Gladbach here, getting that goal and a half, though it's really hard to fade Bayern München at this point, though I don't think they're that good. They dominate this league. And then moving to Sunday, Leipzig hosting Werder Bremen. Currently, Leipzig a three-quarter goal favorite. Slightly more juice on Werder Bremen away from home. Total is 3, juice all the way to over. I don't trust Leipzig to score goals. I think their defense was horrible against Bayern Munich. We see response against Werder Bremen, who are not really a great goal-scoring side. I'll be waiting to see this one climb to a full goal of insurance on Werder Bremen. Till then, I like the 3/4, I guess, of a goal, but like the under 3 even more. And the last matchup, we have Football Club Augsburg hosting VfB Stuttgart. Currently, Augsburg half a goal underdog at home with almost all the juice. Total is 2 and 3/4. You slightly more to over. Augsburg, I mean, they showed what their defense was like without Jeffrey Hovaleu, their captain, who was suspended the match before they conceded 5 to Holstein Kiel away from home. Stuttgart lost away, just 1 goal scored. I think Stuttgart control this game, but Augsburg are very happy to let their opponents have the ball. I don't know that I really feel great about a half of a goal underdog at home on Augsburg, but certainly looks like the Fugelstädter are getting bet by the German Bundesliga market. And I think my biggest interest here is under 2 and 3/4, though I would certainly love to have this hit 3. So for my best bet for the German Bundesliga before I move back to the ultimate best bet, where I summarize all the leagues and try to improve on that 23-7 so far this season. I'm going to go with Bochum under 2 and 3/4 goals at home on the road at Mainz, excuse me. I think that's the biggest interest for me at this point. And let's see if it's time for the ultimate best bet, because I'm tired, if you can't tell. And I still have to put up my college basketball picks on patreon.com. So this is real_G Warner. And of course, also on pregame.com as well. And that's coming up shortly. So it's time. Let me queue up my my device to record this. So put the 1-minute video on at the real_G Warner on YouTube and also on Instagram. If you want 1-minute versions of this video, and we can hopefully improve on that 23-7 record. It's going to be hard to do, but certainly something that I'm looking forward to. 23-7, 77% so far, with also a horrible bad beat I felt last weekend with 2 goals conceded in extra time by Southampton, or else we would probably have pushed, but it would certainly keep that record a little bit better. But I guess it's time to get into it. It's been a long night, so forgive me, but it's time to get in. So let's do it. Hey, this is real_G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. This is the ultimate best bet. We're 23-7. We go through each of the European soccer leagues and we pick a favorite bet from each of the leagues, then pick one ultimate best bet you can grade each podcast on. 23-7, 77% so far this season. From the English Premier League, it's off this weekend, so we're going FA Cup. Manchester United under 2.5 goals on the road at Arsenal. In La Liga in Spain, we like Valencia under 2 1/4 goals. In Serie A in Italy, we'll go Cagliari under 3 goals at Milan. In Ligue in France, we like Stade Brestois, a quarter goal underdog. And in the German Bundesliga, we'll go VfL Bochum under 2 3/4 goals. But for the ultimate best bet, as we try to improve at the real underscore G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube, we're going to go with that Cagliari at Milan under 3 goals, as we don't see a lot of goals happening in that matchup. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, especially late night. Hopefully this gets out to all of you, and you get, I guess, maybe listen to this during your morning brunch with your kids as you introduce sports betting to them, and hopefully a new form of income. Other than that, have a great evening, and I'll talk to you all soon.